r/AskReddit. What is the quickest way you've seen someone duck their life up? This kid I know. His cousin gave him a gun over the holidays as a present. So this dumbass ordered pizza with his friends, and instead of paying they robbed the delivery guy. Again, this is after they gave the address and name for the order. So now because he just turned 18 he's being tried as an adult and faces like 10 years or more for being stupid. This may not be as bad as some of the other answers, but a friend of mine took out a loan for $250. 000, I promise, I'm not exaggerating this number, to pay for her dream wedding to a guy she had known for 3 months. They got divorced after less than a year, and she is still in debt from it. Last year a guy that my dad worked with decided to download child porn on a US Postal Service computer. This guy was in his 60s, had a wife, and was generally living the old person life with financial freedom. He got arrested, and his wife had no access to anything, because he had everything in his name. Lawyer wouldn't cooperate with her. I've never seen two people's lives destroyed so quickly. Actually, make it 3+ cause he had videos of him and a kid. Girl had a fully paid scholarship to Yale, and gave it up, because her boyfriend wanted her to study at his community college, so that they wouldn't be apart. She got dumped just 3 months later, and fell into a downward spiral of depression and drugs. Last I heard of her, she had dropped out of the college, and was working as a waitress at some restaurant. Edit since this post blew up. 1. I wasn't that close to her, but apparently she refused to heed the advice of her friends and family, who begged her to go. I guess that's why they say love is blind. 2. She was very emotionally invested into the relationship, and was devastated when he left. According to a mutual friend close to her, she was probably one of the most intelligent people that I had ever met personally, and pretty to match too. We were quite shocked at what happened. 3. Her scholarship was probably needs-based as others have explained. I'm not too sure about the exact details. 4. Thank you for the cake day messages. People in my high school who drove like idiots and got themselves killed. Some of them were drunk, but even when they were sober they did stupid hit on the road. One guy got impatient and tried to pass a car and plowed into oncoming traffic and died. I remember on the way to a senior skip day celebration, I struggled to keep up with everyone else because they were all doing 160 miles per hour zone. One girl got plastered and wrapped her car around a tree. One guy fell out of a car because he was drunk and fooling around. And every ducking time, people shed tears and ask why do the good die young? As if it isn't going to happen to one of the other dozens of idiots driving like jackasses a few months later. A guy I know 17 years old thought it was funny to post fake threats on the app Jodel, thinking it wouldn't be taken seriously. I have a Glock that's loaded in my backpack, don't come to school tomorrow, etc. Police swarmed the school and they eventually found out who it was that wrote the threats. A guy I know and I went to a casino for fun once. I lost about $20 on a slot and $50 on drinks and buffet. But that guy I knew lost $1,250 before I kinda stopped him. After a year he lost everything, including his family, because of gambling addiction. I still regret bringing him to a casino time to time. Edit. Wow. This blew up. Now my highest rated comment is a story about how I ruined an acquaintance of mine and his family / meth. A beautiful, jaw-dropping really, cousin of mine went from being a successful social worker with a master's from UK, a beautiful family, and gorgeous home to a single, jobless meth head with both of her children and the same system she worked for. Got meth mouth in record time. Edit. This edit is late as it. But I'm not a guy lol. She tried meth once and never shook it after. People have lots of reasons for experimenting with drugs, and we all wish she would have tried something different. Heroin. A friend's last post on Facebook was all A's and B's. Time to celebrate. She died of a heroin overdose a few hours later on Christmas Eve. Nasty stuff. Edit answers to questions in the comments. All A's and B's refers to her performance in college. I believe she had struggled previously and then got clean for a while, but decided to reconnect with an ex who reintroduced her to the drug at a party after a few years of sobriety. He was convicted following her death on some kind of manslaughter charge. I believe fentanyl was present in the toxicology report. She did not know it was cut in and likely believed she was taking a familiar dosage. DUI. Had a friend in high school who is serving a life sentence for killing 2 other friends of mine. Edit. He had a full scholarship to a 4-year university for football. This happened in a 2-week period. A friend of mine lost his kitchen job due to layoffs. Looked in the paper for a job he could get quick, so he can make his bills, rent, etc. Finds a listing for a company looking for a driver/delivery person ASAP. He has a car, so he figures it would be a good quick fix. Calls and gets the job over the phone, and is told he starts the next evening. Gets a company cell phone, and does his first pickup. Turns out it's an escort agency and he's picking up and dropping off the talent. Does this for a few nights and starts getting to know the girls. Turns out they're all addicted to crack. Big surprise. They get the idea in his head that he's doing all the groundwork, so he might as well post the ads himself and get his own phone, and they'll work for him. So we're about a week into this adventure and he's gone from line cook to pimp. Fast forward a couple of days into pimping, and he comes to the conclusion that all these girls spend their money on his crack, so why not cut out the middleman and start paying them in what they want? He doesn't know where to get crack, but his kitchen buddies can hook him up with coke. Gets a bag of coke and googles how to make crack. Yes, really. Whips up a batch of kitchen crack and then is concerned that maybe he didn't make it correctly, so logically he should try it first before giving it to his ladies. 36-hour crack binge later. He's hooked and proceeds to sell off everything including the car and phone in the next few days. I dropped by his place to hang out around day 10. I had no idea any of this was going on. He meets me at the door, explains what he's been up to for the past few days, and says he doesn't want me there unless I'd like to pay and hook up with one of the crackheads in his living room. Strangely, I decline. Last time I saw him, he was cracked out yelling at people for change on a downtown street. 14 days and his entire life turned to garbage. There was that guy on here who decided to try heroin thinking he wouldn't get addicted off one try. He ended up getting addicted, and looking through his comments basically chronicles his addiction and dependency on the drug. Pretty scary hit. Not me but my dad. When he was at college, one of his friends snapped after an argument with his mother and slit her throat, as well as killing his 2 little cousins who his mum was babysitting. This was 38 years ago, and he's still in prison. Edit. Sorry, there has been a few comments confused about the wording. My dad's friend killed his own mother plus 2 cousins. He did not kill anyone in my family. I was the catcher for a kid in my town who was a nasty pitcher from an early age. At 16 or 17 he could throw 90 miles per hour fastballs, breaking balls, whatever. It was a reach to catch, and I had to keep a wet sponge inside my mitt in case I caught one directly in the palm. He was drafted 12th overall by the Marlins and received a $1.8 million signing bonus that he got before he even went to spring training. Ended up blowing over $1.5 million on drugs and partying. Developed a coke habit that turned into an oxy habit that turned into heroin. Lost his ability to play. Lost his spot on the team and his shot at many millions of dollars. It wasn't exactly overpass, but the dude wasted $1.5 million plus everything he would have gotten had he continued his upward trajectory, and it all happened in about 8 months. Edit. Atrocious spelling. If you are enjoying the video, please give a thumbs up and leave a comment. My cousin's husband got into a drunken fight outside a bar and punched the other guy pretty hard. Other guy fell, hit his head on the curb and died. Cousin's husband is now in jail. She took their kids and got remarried. What makes it even worse is that the new husband is a total jackass, so not only did those kids lose their dad, they're now stuck with a Reich for a stepdad. Yes, I get it. This is similar to Con Air. Opioids. Half of my friends are dead or dying because of them. Edit. I live in small town Canada, where there's nothing to do, so everyone either gets on one of the many kinds of hard drugs you can find here or moves away. I myself was hooked on them for a couple years, but went through detox and cleaned myself up once I saw people I loved starting to drop like flies doing the same hit I was. A few months ago I had a friend of mine ask me if I wanted to try crack with him. I was busy, so I politely declined. He now has 3 different dealers calling up at the job looking for money. He's total 2 cars. Only one of which was his. Everyone hates him now because he's always begging for money and lying to everyone. And his mother had him locked up for stealing from her house. We've been watching this dude ruin his life for the past few months and he won't listen to anyone. When we tell him it's obvious his addiction is causing it. When I was in college, I had a job at a local supermarket. One of my colleagues left at the beginning of summer as she was headed to uni in the autumn. Next thing I know, she's in the papers because she was driving a car whilst someone was car surfing on it and the guy died. Saw her in the shop a couple weeks after it happened and she looked a mess. I believe she went to prison, but not sure how long for. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.